Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and Patrick in Long Island City, New York. Hey, Patrick, what's on your mind today?
How you doing today, Tom? Thanks for having me on.
I'm great.
What I was catching in the last few calls, it sounds like you got a lot of Fox watchers, I think. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. By the way, newshoundsus.us is the website for the group that watches Fox, so you don't have to. I gave the wrong name for them earlier. And,
okay, thank you.
Oh, and there's one other thing. Somebody called earlier and said, President Obama's mother was Jewish, so he's Jewish. No, President Obama's mother was Christian.
Yes.
And his father, he married after he divorced Obama's mother. He remarried, and the woman that he remarried was Jewish. But that's got nothing to do with Obama. And you know, I don't know how this stuff just like.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to get at. I heard before the woman, I think it was a woman, said that the better deal sounded like something from the pizza chain.
Yeah.
And I've heard this. This is the second or third time I heard this over the weekend on the Sunday shows. And I'm really wondering, you know, it's nice to see the Democrats come out and, you know, be aggressive with this better deal. But I'm wondering how long it's going to take before this is laughed at and ridiculed like Obamacare as opposed to the ACA.
Well, it depends on what they do with it. I'm a big believer in branding, that you can take pretty much anything and attach meaning to it over time if you do it right.
Would you say that it's important then for the Democrats to definitely get out there and attach their meaning to it?
Well, that's my point. I mean, who would have known? You know, if 30 years ago you had said someday the richest company in America is going to be called Apple, and they go, Apple, what the hell is that? You know, they sell fruit. And you say, and, you know, one of the biggest companies in the world is going to be called Google. Well, what's Google? It's the name of a number, 1,000, you know, with 1,000 zeros. You know,
I'm younger than you, but I remember the political uproar over when Michael Dukakis gave the death penalty to a woman who had raped his wife.
Right, right. But that, you know, that was a gotcha question that really got turned around on him, and Dukakis handled it very, very badly. But the point I was making is I'm a big believer in branding. I think that what the slogan is, you know, yes, it's important to have a good slogan, but it doesn't have to be the perfect slogan because you're going to attach meaning to it over time. The question is, what is the meaning that you're attaching to it? So if our new slogan, if the Democratic Party's new slogan is going to be a better deal, fine. Let's define what that better deal is. And what I've seen so far seems sort of, you know, kind of half and half, you know, kind of wishy-washy. And I would like the Democratic Party to be very assertive and say, these are the things that we absolutely believe in, that we believe in freedom, and you are not free if you are hungry. We believe in freedom, and you are not free if you are sick and you have no way to get well. You are not free. We believe in freedom, and you are not free if you don't have housing. We believe in freedom, and you're not free if you can't find a job, no matter how hard you want to work. And so we are going to solve that problem by producing a system of national health care, by taking care of the housing crisis that we have in the United States. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that, including changing our tax laws with regard to mortgage deductions and whatnot. We're going to take care of the health care problem with single-payer health care. You know, we're going to take care of the environmental problem with a carbon tax. I mean, just very straightforward stuff, and try to tie it all back to a principal meme. In my mind, it should be freedom or liberty, because that markets so well for the Republicans. The Democrats should steal it, frankly. But
I would almost suggest that the Democrats take a look at Teddy Roosevelt's speech of, what was it, 1901, 1902 or something?
Which one?
You play it all for the time.
Oh, yeah, that was actually from 1912. That was when he was running on the Bull Moose Party. And, you know, and he talks about a living wage. That was when Teddy Roosevelt invented the phrase a living wage. And he talked about living wage will vary from parts of the country depending on, you know, where you live. But it has certain basic elements, you know, enough that you can have a reasonable standard of living, that you don't have to steal for food, essentially, that you can raise your children and put them through school, that you can take vacations, that you have health care that you can provide for your family in sickness and health, and so that you can have a reasonable retirement, a reasonable amount set aside for retirement and old age. In fact, here is the clip. This is Theodore Roosevelt, in 1912, recorded by Thomas Edison himself. Here's the clip of Teddy Roosevelt saying this.
Okay.
We stand for a living wage. Wages are subnormal if they fail to provide a living for those who devote their time and energy to industrial occupation. The monetary equivalent of a living wage varies according to local conditions, but must include enough to secure the elements of a normal standard of living. A standard high enough to make morality possible, to provide for education and recreation, to care for immature members of the family, to maintain the family during periods of sickness, and to permit a reasonable saving for old age.
There you go. And that was 103 years ago.
I say let's dust
113 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
I say let's dust it off and use it again.
Yeah, except that Teddy Roosevelt was a Republican.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So if you're going to do something like that, I would go to Franklin Roosevelt's his second Bill of Rights speech, you know, where he said, you know, he laid out this happened, you know, in the year before he died, and he never saw it come to fruition. But I would go to FDR's second Bill of Rights speech, and you know, I'd do right past the four freedoms and right to the second Bill of Rights and say, this is what we believe in, this is what we stand on. But it's essentially the same thing. You have the right to an education, you have the right to health care, you have the right to housing, you have the right to a job. And if the marketplace doesn't provide for those things, government will. Very, very straightforward. Patrick, thanks a lot for the call. Great to hear from you.